A new report from the Maxim Institute says there could be a new way to tackle some of New Zealand's toughest social problems. Instead of the government paying for services that may or may not actually work, this model pays only when real results are proven. Joining us now is Thomas Scrimgeour, who's a researcher for the Maxim Institute and author of the report. Thomas, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
Good to have you on the program. This sounds a little bit like our cow farting pill that we had earlier on the program, like it might be too good to be true. What are you talking about here? How does this work?
So what we're talking about is social impact bonds, essentially a three-party contract for social services. Government identifies a problem they're looking to solve, and so they decide they want to buy an outcome. They find a service provider, a charity or an NGO who's looking to do an intervention and says, do you think you can solve it? And if the charity says, yes, we think we can, the government says, great, go find yourself some funding, back yourself, and then if you achieve these outcomes we agree on, we pay you out. So it's something we've trialled before. Towards the end of the last national government, Bill English set up some trials. One ran through to completion with Genesis Youth Trust, and it was really successful. So it's certainly something that has been done.
So who funds it then?
So it's a range of possible opportunity, people looking to do it. There are a bunch of big sort of impact investment funds, people looking primarily to achieve an impact. But the Genesis Youth Trust one, including New Zealand Super Fund. So there's a lot of investors who are looking to make a difference and also make a return, and so there's capital out there.
But there must be a few failures for every success. So how much of a realistic, viable business opportunity is it for people?
So that's a really good question to ask, and I think it's worth looking back to the trials. So National tried to set up 2 trials previously. So the Genesis Youth Trust ran to completion, and it was a big success. But one failed to get off the ground in the first place. They spent $1.5 million on a bond that didn't even get off the ground. So what we just need to do is attribute the costs of everything against the benefits. And what we see is that even if you attribute the costs of the failed bond to the successful one, we actually are still in the positive anyway. So it's certainly viable.
Right. Because we're about to have Dave Vitale on our panel this morning. I imagine he'll have a few things to say about this. So you're saying for someone like Dave, you were saying go out there and get money from somewhere and then show it. I mean, the thing is, he's already proven that what he's doing is working and he's not getting money. So, well, I mean, he's getting some, obviously, but he's not getting as much as he would like. So how does this solve the problem?
Well, I think that's a perfect example, right? Dave Vitale's coming on. He does great work. And in many ways, organisations like Dave's and many others around the country do work that government agencies can't. So how is it that we empower those people in the community who know their community to do the work rather than leaving it to Wellington? So basically, Dave's got a high profile. He could say, look, we've got this intervention. These are the outcomes we're going to achieve. He can raise support if the government doesn't believe in him already. And so then he can get in there, do the work, and do what he does best. Yeah,
and he gets donations, he gets some corporate donations as well. But what else is he meant to do? Go to the super fund and say...
No. So there's a whole bunch of impact investing organisations in New Zealand. And when we're talking about the scale of impact investing in New Zealand, we're talking about billions, not millions. So it's quite a large thing, and it's much bigger than it was, say, 10 years ago when these were first being trialled. So impact investing New Zealand, there are these networks of people, funds specifically, many charities that were established over 100 years ago, develop assets over a century. And so they're looking to hold on to those assets because they're doing their own work, but they also want to invest them to make sure their capital is growing. So they can get their assets doing 2 bits of work. They can support their own from their return, but also do good while they invest it.
All right, interesting. We'll see what Dave's verdict is when he comes on in just a second. Thomas, good to have you on the program this morning. Thank you. Thomas Scrimgeour, the Maxim Institute researcher.